Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Bullony Basketball. You can see we got a very colorful lot of guests here today. We got the Running the Paint podcast with my guys Miles, Nick, and Jackson. How you guys doing today?
Doing good, man. Doing great.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah, having a good day. It's been a good day.
Yes, sir.
It's gonna be even better after the collab. So
I think it'll be a good episode. I think we're gonna have a lot to talk about, and I think this episode will be kind of a little bit themed toward, All-Star Weekend, which is coming up. Just a lot of questions that I kind of want to ask you guys about. And I think we can kind of start off with the recent announcing of the starting lineups. Now, I feel like there weren't too many complaints from the media side of things or like just the fans, but there were a few that caught people's attention. So with the All-Star starters that have been announced, do you feel like anybody kind of got snubbed, or do you feel like there's anybody it's like, I don't know what their chances are to make it now? What would you guys say? And any of you guys can hop in. Yeah.
You want me to? Okay. I personally think that they did a great job as a collective of picking the starters. I know that's something that we've talked a lot about on our podcast is kind of the legacy vote, specifically in the Western Conference with guys like Curry, LeBron, and Durant all starting the game, even though in the cases of like Curry and LeBron, there are other guys you could make cases for starting the game just because of the individual play this year. But obviously you can't complain about really any of those guys being in the game, especially with it being in San Francisco and Steph Curry. I mean, I think the one thing that was being talked about the most was the Eastern Conference with LaMelo Ball not starting the game after being number one in fan voting. But I mean, I'm not mad at, him not starting at all or him being lower in the media because he's putting up a lot of great numbers. He's also taking a lot of shots, and he's not on a very good team that's being successful there in Charlotte. So honestly, I wasn't too mad at the results we got.
For sure.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't have LaMelo as a snub either. I think, like you said, he takes a lot of shots and he's on a bad team. And I think Donovan and Brunson just both deserve it better because they're both like the cornerstones of two of the top teams in the Eastern Conference. And they both play consistent and they both just do what they need to do. They go out there and they lead, and I think that speaks levels. But the only snub I think that you could maybe make an argument for is obviously Victor Wembanyama, because he's just a freak of nature, like nothing I've ever seen. I mean, I saw a video the other day of him like doing an off the backboard East Bay dunk, and I'm like, it just like you could put him in the dunk contest at this point. That's the stuff Mac McClung is going to be doing in a couple weeks. So, I mean, I don't know. I think you could make an argument for him. Obviously, it's hard to argue anyone over LeBron, though. So, I don't know.
I could argue it.
I mean,
his teammate, I think, had a pretty good case to be a starter, too. I know Wemby was a snub. I think Davis, not necessarily a snub, but I don't know. If LeBron, I'm glad LeBron is a starter because if he didn't get voted into the starting, I don't know if he would be on the roster entirely because, dude, I had him, in my wild card spots when we did our teams. And, obviously LeBron and Steph are going to be in the game. They're going to be starting, but they do need to add sort of like a legacy spot or something so that you're not taking away from other guys who could be not only on the roster, but in the game starting.
Yeah.
As far as the East, though, I have no complaints. I have no surprises there.
I mean, imagine, I think it was 2019 when Dwayne Wade and Dirk both made the All-Star game and took a spot away from someone else. And, imagine if they just had a legacy spot in each conference. I think that would go along.
In that year, when Wade and Dirk both made it, that they basically added a legacy spot just for that year. And I feel like there's a difference with those two and kind of the legends that we got right now. It's like Curry and LeBron, they're still playing like all-stars. Like we all had them mainly on the roster list. I feel like the legacy would be there for, a guy that's at the end of a bench, that would have no chance of making the game. These guys obviously have chances to make the game, and I think that question would probably go to, another one on if they should expand the rosters, which I think we're going to talk about a little bit later.
Yeah. The one thing I will say, I do agree with most of what you guys say. Actually, it's funny because I think when I made my predictions about a week and a half ago, like I got it 10 for 10, like with the players that were the starters. So like LaMelo, I know people were upset with that, but like genuinely, like you guys said, I mean, he's taken so many shots, and not only that, but he's missed a lot of games too on a team that's really not playing that well. It's like it's going to be hard to make it there. And then, you know, I firmly believe like Donovan Mitchell should have been number one all across the board. You know, I know he was second in player voting. And as you guys said, like with the legacy spot, I know you guys are mostly Cavs fans, I would think, right? So, I mean, I don't. Jackson shaking his head.
We got ourselves a Houston Rockets fan as well, so this is a special season where like the three of us are all kind of enjoying ourselves a lot.
Yeah, well, I think too, like with LeBron making it, I wouldn't have a problem with him making it, but like the starting spot is definitely like the thing that's up for question, because a guy like Wemby, a guy like, I mean, really, AD's been their best player this season. So, yeah, like that's where I guess like the controversial part of it comes in. But I don't think there's a problem with like any of those guys making the team. And we know it's never going to be like exact. The only other thing I will say is when you brought up that 2019 All-Star game, that as a D Rose fan, that hurts me because I remember he was top 2 in voting that year. And then that's when they first implemented the new format. And it's like,
That's right. Yeah, in the resurgence year for D Rose, he was definitely at the top of a lot of the All-Star lists because he was playing so great. But yeah, man, it was certainly tough. But yeah, I mean, I'm certainly excited to see what reserves do get announced as well, because like you guys have all said, all these guys are gonna make the game. I mean, when we talk about like starters versus reserves, it really only matters for this like 2-week period where we're all trying to come up with our roster predictions anyways. Yeah. So we won't really be talking about it in a couple of weeks.
I don't know if you guys have anything else you want to add on this topic before we move on.
There's a whole extra starters unit because there's 3 teams and the rookies.
That's a good point.
And the rookie team, so there's 15 starters.
Yeah, I'm still like unclear on how that's going to work.
I don't
know. I think the third team will just be the rookies and stars.
What I would guess, I have no idea, this is my guess, is that the TNT guys are drafting the 3 teams, so they'll probably pick from the starters first, and then pick from the reserves. I don't know, that would make sense.
So, like, some of the very close reserves would also be starters, technically, or something like that?
Yeah, I get, like, whoever gets picked first to fill out their team.
There's 3 teams in total, right? It'll be those 2 and then
well, there's 4 total, but one of them is the Rising Stars, and then so technically there's gonna be 15 starters like that are all stars.
There'll be
like
8 people per team, because I think there's 24 all stars, so it'll be 8 per team.
Yes, yeah, that would be
I don't know how the starting thing is gonna work in that situation.
Weird.
Who knows? Hey, if it works, it works. Though we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's not gonna work. It hasn't worked. That's why they're doing it.
Yeah, I mean, with the format, like they could change whatever format they want. It's about the players actually playing hard. You know, that's really what it is.
We'll have to see. I mean, what really happens from it. I'll remain open minded until we see what happens. But
well, I agree. I'm excited. I'm
excited. I don't know. I'm not super optimistic about the chances of how it's gonna turn out though. But yeah, we can progress here though to kind of talk about the next topic, which I've been kind of one to say this for a while now, and I feel like now we're at a point where like especially with the pace of play kind of picking up in the game, like you see more 3-point shots, like numbers across the board from the star players are off the charts more than ever, and you might think like, well, there's 12 people that make the All-Star team, but there's always like a few guys that it's like you look at their numbers and it's like, how is a guy that's averaging like 25, 6 and 6 not making the All-Star team on a solid team? And so I guess I'll leave you with this, where it's like a regular roster probably has like 15 guys, maybe 17 with the 2-way players. But do you think they should expand the All-Star rosters from 12 per conference to 15?
Jackson, you start with this. I want to hear what you think.
I think would it necessarily have to go to 15, or could it be less? Because I'm just
it could be less too. I mean, like just expand it a little bit more, I think.
Yeah, I'm looking at, because if it goes to 15, I'm looking at like who like some All-Stars would be, and like it would be like, obviously there's some like people who might get snubbed, like James Harden, who would obviously make it then, but like then you'd have like Zach LaVine and maybe Vucevic in the East being all-stars because it's like extra spots. I think it would, if it goes to like 13, maybe 14, it'd be okay, but like 15 is just a lot because that's like literally that's 30 players plus the like rising stars or whatever. I think that gets kind of chaotic.
Yeah.
I think it would be too many at 15. I definitely agree. If they did expand it, they would have to be careful because the main thing with the game right now is the level of competition is not high. And if you have more guys who are just going to sit most of the time anyways, they're not going to be as invested. So that would be my concern with adding more and more guys because then it's just like less investment and yeah. But again, I'll go back to the legacy thing. I think you add one spot in each conference for a guy who's been in the league for a decade and whether or not he would be an all-star regardless. Like this year, Steph or LeBron could fill one of those spots and one of them could have a regular roster spot.
Yeah, so my thoughts on this, I think that, whether it's a legacy spot, or just adding, spots as well, that could be something interesting for the league to look at. But I mean, I feel like, the all-star rosters, we kind of end up getting 13 to 14 guys from each conference anyways when you take into account the injury reserves. So I feel like, there isn't really a need to extend the rosters when you're already getting a couple extra guys from each conference, making it anyways just off of injuries. But there is definitely a case for, extending the rosters. But I think if they did add another spot, they should just not do injury replacements at that point because you're already extending it. And we don't need 17 or 18 guys in one conference
Right.
making the All-Star game.
Yeah, that'd be overkill.
Yeah, that's kind of I guess what I was thinking about it is that I feel like it wouldn't be a bad thing to have 15, but then you can't have any injury replacements or anything. So, I mean, you would hope the whole team doesn't get hurt by the time of the All-Star game. But even if there's 3 or 4 people hurt, you can play a game with 11 guys or something like that. I was just thinking of it too because I'm just from looking at my All-Star team, I know I said I had the starters in the East the right way, and then there's kind of guys like Cade or Jaylen Brown. I feel like Mobley this year, he's played like an all-star. Dame will probably get in. But there's even 2 other Cavaliers like Darius Garland, Jared Allen, those guys in consideration. The Pacers have played well. So it's there's just so many guys I feel like, and it's maybe that comes out to about 13 or 14. But I think regardless, probably an up in the ante on the amount of all-stars per conference. I feel like it's kind of long overdue, especially because I don't know, I feel like 12, I mean, like we said, the regular roster is 15, so it just seems like it should be at least a little bit higher than 12.
Yeah, 12 never really seemed to make, a whole lot of sense. I mean, maybe it made sense maybe 10 years ago. I'll go back to 2015. Since we're Cavs fans, some of us are Cavs fans, there's been a lot of comparisons between this year's Cavs team and the 2015 Atlanta Hawks, who also had 4 All-Stars in the game. And that was a case of, the Hawks were very, very good the first half of the year, but it also shows how shallow the Eastern Conference really was. I remember even, that season, the question for the final All-Star spot was between Kyle Korver and Brandon Knight.
Yeah.
When he was playing for the Bucks, balling for Milwaukee. It's talent is just way more advanced now. So I think that it should definitely be extended past 12 because, players are just way better now.
I agree. I think that the best argument for expanding the rosters is the point that you just made. Every year, the list of guys that deserve a spot that don't get it gets longer. So open it up.
Yeah. And it's the other thing, one other thing I'll say, and then we can move on unless you guys have something else to add. But obviously, with the West as well, where it's you guys mentioned the legacy spots, and you have 3 guys in there who have been all-stars always, but they're all definitively on the roster, and now there's 7 more spots. But it's teams like the Grizzlies or Jackson's Rockets, they've played really well this season, and it's it feels like there's a chance that neither of those teams, like one of those teams, might not get an All-Star. Like, and
Both of them might not.
They both might not. Yeah. Like, and that's just like crazy to me. I feel like.
Yeah, You look at the Rockets, the Grizzlies, the Clippers have been playing very well.
Yeah.
All three of those teams could maybe not get an All-Star.
Yeah.
And a team like the Suns and the teams like the Suns and Kings, who have been playing better, could get two. And it's like, that just doesn't seem right, but it's certainly possible.
Well, D-Book better not be an All-Star. Let's start there.
I agree with you. I don't think he should this year, but
yeah, that's crazy. I mean, you think we could get more All-Stars from teams like 8 through 12 with the Spurs and Wemby getting it. We might get, more All-Stars between those teams than, like 2 through 7.
And if Dallas gets any too. I mean, Luka's been out a while, but like if Kyrie got in, if they reward Luka, I think Kyrie's.
You think a lock. He should be a lock at least.
Well, I mean, that's another one because I think right now they're in like 7th as well or something, or they're like 7th, 8th last time I checked. So
yeah, I think it changes every day.
Yeah, but they're like not like a high seed essentially. Like
right.
But yeah, that I don't know. That's just like kind of crazy to me, and I just feel like it was something interesting to discuss. But yeah.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, I don't know if you guys want to progress here to this like All-Star this or that segment. I feel like this will be a little fun. So I'm going to give you guys 3 different, I guess, scenarios or things you can pick between. And then I guess we'll just kind of see what you guys say. So I guess the first one I'll say for you guys. Now, there's going to be 3 options here. I feel like one of them might be a little more obvious not to pick, just given his history in the All-Star game. But I believe the 3 top vote getters this year were Jokic, Giannis, and SGA. And if they were to do an All-Star draft with the 3 other teams, who would be selected earlier in the All-Star draft between those 3?
Who would go first?
Yeah, between Jokic, Giannis, and SGA.
Yeah, Nick, you say Giannis?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Giannis for sure. Because you mentioned, I mean, you're referring to Jokic.
Yeah.
Jokic doesn't really,
Jokic doesn't,
he kind of just takes a chill pill during the All-Star game.
Right.
Yeah. I'd probably go Giannis too.
Giannis.
Because he probably tries the most, at least from what I've seen.
Yeah, I feel like that's fair. Like I really wouldn't consider Jokic just given his history. I think SGA is interesting, especially with this year, like kind of building his MVP campaign. Like maybe he thinks like, oh, I could go for the regular season MVP, the All-Star MVP, the Finals MVP. Like I don't know. Like maybe
more hardware, not
What's the most points on an All-Star game?
I think it's Giannis, right? Or
I think
no, it was
Tatum had it.
One of those people.
Because I'm pretty sure it was the year like
Curry. I think it's Curry.
It might be Curry.
No, I think Tatum got it in the Utah.
It was 23 because Mitchell had 40 and he didn't get it. It was like crazy.
Tatum had 55 in 2023.
Yeah, I know it was AD for a while. I think it was Westbrook at one point. Like
it was AD and Westbrook had. I think it was AD, Westbrook, and then before that, I couldn't tell you.
And then even like last year, Cat didn't he get like 50?
Yeah.
Yes, sir, the big
like in the loss. That's how many points were scored. But now with this format, we're not going to get a 50-point game from anyone because they played a 40 in the first rounds of the game.
Unless someone just scores them all. Like
Shea goes for all 40.
That'd be crazy. But it seems like pretty consensus. Like I would also go with Giannis though if I had to pick. But I guess we all agree Giannis would be the pick there.
I think so. I mean.
Okay.
It's just...
now this next one's going to be a really interesting question, and it's going to be really hard to, I guess, predict. 2 of the worst teams in the league right now, the Washington Wizards, Utah Jazz. So which team do you think is going to have an All-Star again first of those 2 teams? If you had to bet.
Ooh.
Biased out the window.
Wait, so the Wizards or the Jazz?
Yep. Who would have an All-Star first?
Who will have an All-Star sooner? Man, that is a difficult question.
It is tough.
Oh,
I thought we had 3 options.
Well, this one, there's 2 options, but
I picked the third.
Picking the third. The third, we'll say the Bulls because that's my team. No.
The Bulls.
The only guy that comes to mind right now is Bilal Coulibaly, who has a chance maybe in the next 5 years. I mean, I think Lauri Markkanen has passed his All-Star
Yeah.
candidacy.
Only one guy. His name's Cooper Flag. Whoever gets him.
Yeah.
That's a great
he'll be
point.
in net. He'll be in
Yeah,
net. It's
maybe
made to happen.
whoever gets
That's a
him.
good point.
I mean,
Ask
You
me in
know,
a few
I'm
months.
gonna go with the Wizards. I think they've got a lot of young, talented guys.
Actually,
that
I
can
could
put up numbers.
I could see ALLSTAR being an All-Star.
Yeah.
I think
Maybe like
he's
I mean,
shown a lot of really good flashes. I think.
if like Jordan Poole can kind of build on this sort of resurgence season.
Doubtful.
I mean, the problem is like I just don't see the Wizards winning games with Poole going crazy for points. Like I don't know what their next All-Star would.
Talk about an All-Star snub, Jordan Poole. Man,
All-Stars though.
it's my favorite player.
He's played good this year. And
Amen Thompson has a better All-Star case than Jordan Poole.
That's not saying much because Amen Thompson's the best player in the league.
Well, here we go. All right.
So I guess it seems like you guys are all going Wizards. Maybe.
Yes.
I don't know. It's tough because I like some of the Jazz guys like Bryce Sensabaugh. I think has shown a lot of really good flashes. Isaiah Collier.
Not an All-Star.
Not as All-Star. It's gonna be like it. I mean, it probably won't be any of the guys that are on the current roster. Like it'll probably one of the whoever gets those top picks out of these teams.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's fair. I'll go with the Jazz because it seems like we're mostly going Wizards here, but I will go with the Jazz, and I feel like we also have to factor in like not only that both these teams are going to be bad and they're going to have a lot of high picks, but I think the Jazz have just accumulated a lot more picks like via trade, so I think that opens up the door for them to land a gold mine like somewhere in the draft, especially with like maybe like Danny Ainge at the helm of things and like finding diamonds in the rough, you could say. So I think eventually he might find one, if he's even still there by the time that player develops. But I'll go with the Jazz.
I'm looking too because I feel like one of these teams, if they get one of those top guys, they could also maybe go and sign like a Jimmy Butler in the off season or something.
Yeah,
you never know.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Jimmy.
It hurts my brain to think about.
Jimmy Butler, man.
Yeah, I think we're all done with the Jimmy nonsense at this point. It's just crazy.
Man.
But yeah, so we can I guess move on here to the third one. Now the third one, there's gonna be I think there's 4 options I have here.
Ooh,
yes,
thank goodness.
there's 4 options. So, all 4 of these things, some of these things still exist. Maybe just they've been changed over the years. Some of them don't exist anymore. So what would you say would you want to see return the most for All-Star Weekend? Now, there's 4 options. The first option is the Shooting Stars Challenge, which is the thing where they shoot like a layup, a mid-range, a 3.5 court.
Scotty Barnes needs to get tired.
The second option is the Skills Challenge, but when they did the bracket format where they kind of raced. The third option is just the original All-Star game, but with some effort. And then the fourth option here is the horse competition. What would you guys say? If you had to pick one.
Not the horse competition.
Okay. That's
I don't think that. Well, I mean, maybe now it did not work. Doing horse live is just not it. It just
not fun to watch.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, although that's funny though. Like, I wonder if at the end of Kevin Durant's career, we'll be like, hey, 2-time horse champion. I think he won it twice. They used to do it All-Star Weekend outdoors. It was crazy.
I would say the Skills Challenge. I used to like watching that with like the teams. Yeah. Skills Challenge.
It's a good one. I liked it too. What would you say, Jackson?
Can I pick the original dunk contest? No, I'm just kidding. Bring back the dunkers.
You said bring back the dunkers, like the old dunkers?
Bring back the dunkers.
Like the good dunkers, man.
Bring back Spud Webb right now.
Right
now.
Maybe not that far back. Maybe like Vince Carter.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I like the Shooting Stars Challenge a lot. I used to enjoy that a lot. I know, like, sometimes when I've been at Miles' house, we've literally recreated it at his house because it's so fun. It's interesting because it's like you don't necessarily, like, I know, like, I think it was last year or the year before. I think they had like Walker Kessler in it, and he was like banging threes. I was like, okay, I didn't know Walker Kessler could shoot. And it's just like a fun way to maybe see some people who can't really showcase their shot. Maybe
That's why you enjoy it? That's why you liked playing?
Oh, okay. All right. Let's chill out on God.
yeah.
No, look, Shooting Stars was so fun too, especially it was it was a current player, former player, and WNBA player. That was such a fun format, but I mean, they ended it because like Chris Bosh's team won every year because Chris Bosh was like the go to that thing.
He was.
I would, for this question, this is definitely a tough question. I would go with the All-Star game, the original All-Star game with players giving effort, because I think, the NBA is still looking for that next future face of the league. Mm-hmm. Once LeBron eventually retires and Curry and once this era, we're actually past the era, with those guys in the league. And I feel like, if the All-Star game was back with players giving effort, we could have some legendary pass the torch type of moments in the All-Star game. Because like, what fun All-Star moments do we really get during the game, like over the last couple of years? Like the one-on-one with Brown and Tatum, it's like, okay, no one else is really like moving or doing anything on the court. Like, I think it'd be fun just if everyone gave great effort and everyone like actually cared and had pride. Like I heard the story recently about how like Allen Iverson, went into halftime during one game during the East-West game, was like, man, we got to have pride as the East. We haven't beaten the West in a few years. And Iverson played like nearly all the second half and carried the East to the win. I think it'd be great to just have those storylines, back with these players that we have now.
I agree. And they need to bring back players wearing their own team's jerseys.
Yes.
The city.
Ooh, I agree.
Wear their city jerseys. That'd be sweet.
Like,
maybe not some teams that have bad city jerseys, but
I've said that too a few times. Like, I feel like they need to bring back the old jerseys, but if they really, I mean, obviously they're doing it, so I think they can get the most sales possible out of it. But if they really cared about that, like, why not just put like an all-star patch on the jersey, and then just like, because we want to see like, I thought it was really cool when it's like, oh, you see like Kobe's like Lakers jersey, and then like Vince Carter's Raptor jersey, and then Allen Iverson's Sixers, like all on the same court. T-Mac, Orlando, like it's just nuts. If I had to pick between one of these, I mean, obviously, like I said, I'm not too optimistic on how the All-Star is going to work out this year, the original game, but I will go with the Shooting Stars Challenge. It's been like the thing I've been saying, like, why did they get rid of it? Obviously, like you said, Miles, like Chris Bosh, like his team dominated for like 3 straight years, and like we just got to get rid of it. But dude, Chris Bosh isn't in the league anymore. Like they're done. It's gonna be new players. Like
bring him back.
He could be a legend. He could be a retired player now. Like I always thought too it'd be cool. Like I mean, it might be crazy, but I feel like it would have been a cool idea to have like 4 people, like 4 of the same team. So like maybe a current player from like the Cavs, a former player from the Cavs, and then like a WNBA player from like whatever team is closest, and then like the mascot, like, and the mascot shoots the half court shot. Like
cool. Shooting moon dogs.
Or like a fan or something. I don't know.
You're just saying that because Benny the Bull's the best at the backwards half court shots. I see.
Well, they're not good.
The Bulls would win.
We'd win every year. We got to win something. Won't be winning a championship anytime soon, so take what you can get. But no, I don't know. I just feel like all these things. I mean, even the horse competition, I know it really didn't perform well. I feel like they still could make that interesting, though, especially if they didn't do it maybe live, because it's just going to take forever, Yeah.
Well, and like, even like, I mean, players are the shot making ability is way better now, too. So, I'd be down for it again. Maybe it also being like outside, that was kind of a thing. Like, I don't know if it was an in-arena thing, like, I think it'd be fun. It'd be cool to have that back.
They used to do that. I think they did it once or twice in the 70s. And I think George Gervin was in it. And I think, don't quote me on it, but maybe like Dave Bing. I forget who all was in it. But like the point is, like, they had like a bunch of guys. Oh, it might have been Walter David, Paul, someone, I think.
Let's see. It was like Paul Westphal, Rick Barry.
And I think
there were a lot of.
But like they did that one in a gym. but I feel like it wouldn't be a bad thing to do, and then like you air it on like that All-Star Saturday, but maybe before the actual night begins. It's like a prelude to All-Star Saturday night. I feel like that wouldn't
That'd
be
be
bad.
a cool like little open before the game. Like
Yeah.
that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Yeah. So,
I think
oh no, go ahead.
didn't they used to do the Team World versus Team USA
Mm-hmm.
in Rising Stars?
They did.
I don't think they do that anymore. They should do that now because I feel like where the NBA is at with international players, I feel like this is like the perfect time to do it. And they just
It would probably lose every year.
Yeah, I feel like at the end of it, like the U.S. lost because the world was just kind of dominating at the end.
oh yeah, that's when like Luke. I think last year was like Luca and stuff.
Well, I think they're bringing back this year, from what I saw, like the rookies versus sophomores thing.
Yeah, I saw
which
that, and then G League too.
Which, by the way, I must preface one thing that was dumb. Why did they have Reed Shepherd with the sophomores on their team?
Wait, they did?
Yeah, they put him with the
What?
sophomores. They put Mac McClung with the rookies. Like,
Because he's too good to play for the rookies.
Wait, let me see.
that didn't even make sense. Like, they put all the G League like rookies with the sophomores, and they put all the G League like multi-year players with the rookies.
Gigi Jackson better be on there.
No, he's not on there because he hasn't played
Jackson
that much.
plays like 2 games, bro.
I forget.
He's
There was
back.
another rookie that was on the sophomore
I did
team
see
though
that.
for the G League. I don't know who it was though. I can't recall.
Let's see.
Maybe Davidson, I think.
The G League team, there's J.D. Davison from the Celtics.
He's good,
Shout
though.
out
He's
J.D.
really
Davison. I actually met him in summer
He's
league.
good. Mac McClung, Bryce McGowan's,
Yeah.
Leonard Miller, Reed Shepherd, Pat Spencer, Dink Pate. That's the only that's the only player that hasn't like
Maybe
played
it
in
was
the league.
Pat Spencer I was thinking of, but
Yeah.
But either way, I mean, I'm like, this guy was a top 3 pick, and you put him with the sophomore. Like, I don't know. But yeah, I don't know if there's anything else you guys want to add on this segment at all, or
No, I'm okay. I think we summed everything up. Talked about everything really well.
for sure. So if you guys want, we can get into some of the little fun segments I have here to close the show.
Let's do it.
Yeah, of
So
course.
it is called, well, the first one here is called the Honor of the Week. Every week I just pick a random former player, one that has like a birthday like close to the show that we're recording. 2 minutes to talk about this said player. So are you guys ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. And you guys can go in any order you want. I guess it's entirely up to you guys how you want to decide who speaks first or whatever. But the player I'm going to give you guys is, and you can talk about him for good or bad either. If you want to hate on this guy, go ahead. If you want to praise him, you can do that too. The player is MARC GASOL.
Marcus.
Marcus All right. Jackson, you go first.
I'm starting off. Robber took a depoy from Braun. All defensive second team. But no, I mean, former NBA champion on the Raptors with Kawhi and stuff. Just another one of those guys that does everything like well. I mean, and he just knew his role and kind of stuck to it and played it to, I mean, perfection. Not perfection, but like as good as he could, I think. And I always liked MARC GASOL. I don't think he's the better brother, but you could make an argument.
Oh, he's definitely paved out. He paved out a great career for himself. His days in Memphis were fantastic. The grit and grind era. Got the jump shot later on throughout his career there in Memphis. The mid-range shot, always had great touch, great passer. The rebounding and the defense was always there. He won Defensive Player of the Year. He won the Defensive Player of the Year. That's all I'll say. No, I don't know, Robert. He won Defensive Player of the Year while making all defensive second team. But no, he was a great guy, man. He was a great, player to have throughout the league in a era where the center play wasn't really the best. MARC GASOL was always just steadily there as one of the best. And, even when he was out of his prime, played very well for the Raptors in that championship year. And statistically, I saw today that net rating wise, he's the best center that has played alongside Anthony Davis with the Lakers.
Wow.
So it's still, he was great from the beginning, all the way to the end there.
Yeah.
My favorite MARC GASOL was getting to watch him play for the Spanish national team with his brother. Getting to watch him and Maybe Leonardo Barbosa.
Leandro.
Yeah, Leandro Barbosa.
Brazilian
On the
blur.
Spanish team. They had a couple good runs there in like 2012, 2008. Obviously, it was just fun to watch him and his brother, play for their country.
Yeah, and we were talking All-Star game when Mark and Pau started the All-Star game in like 2015. They did the jump ball at the beginning of the game against each other. That was super cool as well.
I mean,
The
weren't
first
they
brothers to
traded-
do that too.
Yeah.
Weren't they traded for each other too?
They
Yeah,
were.
draft night. They were traded for each other.
That's kind of crazy.
It is, yeah. Crazy. Mark, yeah, he was drafted by the Lakers, then traded on draft day, and then eventually ended his career with the Lakers.
I think they were traded mid-season of like the year before though, but Mark hadn't been picked, or no, Mark was picked, but
he was probably playing
he
overseas.
wasn't like in the league yet, like he didn't come over yet or something.
Yeah, he was probably drafted and playing overseas and then traded mid-season in the Pau Gasol trade.
But that is like they have like such a weird like history tied together. It's crazy.
Yeah, the connection is definitely there.
Yeah. The one thing I'll say about Marc Gasol, I mean, you guys kind of alluded to it. Like he's, when he won that championship, he wasn't like maybe prime Marc Gasol, but it's not like he was one of those guys who like coattailed to a ring or something like that. You know what I mean? Like it's not like he didn't have an impact. And so the one thing I'll say about him is that like I feel like he definitely played to his potential no matter what role he was in. And I really like the grit and grind teams, like with him, Zebo, and Mike Conley, Tony Allen. Like those are just really fun teams.
Yeah, and he should be inducted into the Hall of Fame this year, if I'm not mistaken. So that'll be great to see as well.
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
100% deserves it.
For sure. Yeah. I don't know if you guys want, we can progress here to the mini game to close out the show. I feel like this will be a really good one. So I've never done the mini game this season with 3 live guests. So there could be some, I guess, persuasion on some of the answers that you guys could maybe go with the same thing. Although I will say some of the answers are not too hard, not too difficult to get points or some points on.
Still miss them.
Well, we'll see about that. So, as I've said, it's the Rose Gold Trivia Minigame. It's all Derrick Rose themed trivia to an extent. Now, the first and last question, it's going to be 10 points if you get it right, 0 points if you get it wrong. It's either all or nothing. But I will say the first question should be relatively easy. The 5th question, it's going to be like impossible level. Questions 2 through 4, you can get partial credit depending on how close you are. So, the max score you can get is 50. And yeah, with that being said, are you guys ready?
Yes.
Let's do it. We got to do this, guys. We got to make a name for ourselves on this.
Okay. So, and you guys can all go with different answers. You can go with similar answers if you want, but you can also go with different answers. You don't have to go with the same thing. So we'll see how it goes. So let me first get your guys' names down here so I can track what your guys' answer is. So the first question, I feel like you guys should all know this. I feel like really everybody should know this in the world. What is Derrick Rose's primary position?
Oh,
Point guard.
point guard.
There we go.
I almost got that wrong, man.
And
Oh, come on, Jack.
there you go. So you guys all got 10 points, just like that. Pretty simple. You're already not walking away empty-handed, so that's pretty good.
I don't think Nick got a point. I didn't hear man.
Point guard.
Nick got 10 points. There you
That's
go.
kind of late. I don't know.
I have to ask: has anyone ever walked away with the donut with 0 points?
No one has walked away with the donut, but someone has missed the first question before. So
Really? All right.
Now it's different for every show, but
Yeah.
I forget. I think it was, believe it or not, I think it was who did D Rose hit the game winner in the playoffs against?
Oh wow, yeah.
And it was the Cavs actually, and
Oh, the team. I thought you meant the player.
like the team is what it was. Yeah.
Team, yeah, Cavaliers.
But the player was Tristan Thompson.
Yeah, poor Tristan. Cavs and Bulls legend.
Yes, that is true. Now, the second one's going to be interesting. Now, you guys, I'm looking for an answer to the nearest 10th place.
Jeez.
So we got a stat question.
Yes, and you can get partial credit depending on how close you are. For every 10th you are away, you will get subtracted a point, though. If you're more than a full point away, you won't get any points for this one. So
Okay, so there's a point-based question.
yes. So number 2, what is D Rose's career average in turnovers per game to the nearest 10th?
Oh,
Turnovers per game to the nearest 10th. Okay.
I mean,
Let's see. Wait, Jackson, you want to go first?
I'm gonna say like 2.6.
I'm going 2.6, Jackson.
That's about what I was gonna go with.
I was right around there.
Wow, you guys are copycats. Jeez.
No, it makes sense. I mean,
You guys
let's
can
see.
go
I'll
with the
go
same answer, but you could go different.
2 point.
You guys can go 2.7, 2.8.
Miles, you go.
All right, 2.8. 2.8.
2.8?
Should have gone 2.7.
I'll go
Yeah, you know what?
2.5.
2.5.
All right, so
I think you might have gotten it.
All right. So the correct answer was 2.4. So Nick got 9 points. Jackson got 8. Miles, you got 6.
Shoot.
That's okay. It's still decent.
House is washed, man.
So all you guys are sitting relatively good right now, I will say. There's a lot of people.
Who's doing the best, though?
What's
right
the
now
record?
you were doing the best, Nick. What did you say? Sorry.
What's the record for points?
The record is 43.
All right,
I'm on pace.
So
I got-
On pace.
we'll see.
I don't know.
The last question is going to get really tough, so we'll see. Now the third one right here. Now for every 2 games you are away, you'll get subtracted a point. So there's a little bit more leeway on this one, but we'll see what you guys guess. So are you ready for the third one?
Yes.
Let's see.
Okay. So,
Why is my
all right. Number 3, how many games in D Rose's MVP season did he make at least 1 3-pointer? So you know the answer has to be less than 82. You know that much.
I feel like it's low. I feel like it's really low, actually.
Make at least 1 3.
At least 1 3.
How many points do we get subtracted per game that we're off?
It's for every 2 games you're off, you'll get subtracted a point.
Okay.
I'm gonna say he hit a 3 in 34 games.
But I will say if you're like 1 game away too, you'll get subtracted a point. So like 1 and 2 games away is 9 points. You said
I'll go 34.
34.
I'm gonna say like 22.
I'm gonna say 41, right down the middle.
34, 42, 41.
I'm gonna get no points here.
It might be way low.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking. I think it could be in like.
He might be, but I don't. I don't think that Derrick Rose, like, he still shot some 3, so I don't think he's like making .3 threes.
Shot some is different than making.
This is
Well,
true.
obviously, yeah, and he made him at like nearly like 28% or whatever.
So we rolling Miles 34, Nick 41, Jackson 22.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Oh.
I'm gonna change to like. Can I change to like 16?
You can change to 16.
I'm gonna change to 16. I don't know why.
All right. Now that Jackson did that, I'm gonna stay at 41 to be further away.
Okay.
So he's later. 41's crazy.
All right. So
I'm gonna say 41.
Jackson, you got 16. You did not get any points. Miles, you got 34. You also did not get any points. Nick,
much?
you got 2 points. It was
Let's go.
59.
Dang, D Rose.
The
Okay.
trick
59,
question.
yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
There were a
I
lot
didn't
of
know
games.
I didn't know D Rose was shooting like.
There were a lot of games where you got at least 1. So
Dang, I'm off pace.
I'm gonna mix tip up with D Wade. I feel like D Wade didn't. do that.
With D Wade, yeah.
that was a tricky one. I feel like I had to make that like 2 games away because I'm like, otherwise it would have just been impossible.
That's hard.
Yeah.
That's a good
Double
one.
goose egg for you two in the last 2 rounds.
All right, I got points.
Or
on-
actually, that's not
No,
true.
we got no,
Six.
just that
They
one
got-
round.
they got
Just that
points
one
on
round.
All right. Well,
We bounced back.
the
We
fourth,
bounced back.
the fourth one, it might be, we'll see. It could be up all your guys' alley. Number 4, how many games did D Rose play with the Cavs?
Oh,
I had a feeling this one would come up.
You knew I had
Miles
to
has
do-
the advantage here.
I think.
Let's.
No, it's 11. It's 11. It's 11.
Going with 11.
I think it's 11.
14.
I think it's
14.
11. I'm in between 2 numbers right now, but I think it's 11.
Let's see. I'm gonna go with 21.
21.
I was gonna say 22,
So
but
I feel like I just heard about this earlier today. I think it's 11.
give me 15. 14 to 15.
wait,
21, maybe.
Nick, you're going with 14
I
or
feel
15?
Like he
You
played
said.
around like
15,
21.
please.
Okay. And Miles, you said 21, or you want to?
We'll go 21. We'll go 21.
Gotcha.
11 or 16.
All right.
I really-
So, the correct answer is 16. So Nick got the most points again.
Yeah.
Wow, Nick's killing it.
What happens on our podcast, boys? Who wins most of our games? Just tell the fans. Come.
No.
So Nick, you got
this is normal.
9 points on that one. Miles and Jackson, you guys still both got 5, so that's pretty good.
I was in between 11 and 17.
Wow.
Sucks.
All right. So going into the last question, also worth 10 points. I'll give you guys, I guess, a score roundup if you want. Miles, I believe you got 21, which is pretty good.
There it is.
Jackson, 23. Nick, 30.
Yeah, you're at 30.
So while none of you guys can get the top spot on the leaderboard, you can get pretty high still. All you guys have a chance to be really high up there. So are you guys ready for the last one?
What's the best chance to be okay.
Shut up.
All right.
We get it. You're in the lead, man.
I'm done. Probably.
Don't this guy.
All right. So the last one right here. Now this is impossible level. So if any of you guys get this, props to you.
Has anyone ever fully gotten the points on this one?
Actually, I think 2 people have.
2 people.
But it was a different question, of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I've had 16 guests on, so the 2 for 16 is pretty low odds.
Yeah, yes it is.
I'm confident.
All right. So last question. So in the 2008 NBA draft, the Bulls had 2 selections with the draft. They had Derrick Rose with the first overall pick, and then in the 39th pick, who did they select?
39th. Oh my gosh.
There's only one correct answer. It's all or nothing.
Can I get a hint?
I'm not sure if there would be a hint that really helps on this, to be honest. I mean,
Okay.
I can't name any other Bulls players
I
from
feel like
that area.
this is probably some player that like just played overseas a lot, or I don't know. May have played in the league a little bit.
he did play a few years in the NBA.
He played a few years in the NBA.
He played at least 2 years in the NBA.
2 years.
Well, I mean, multiple, I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess somebody who never played for the Bulls just because I want to say his name. Shabazz Napier.
That's too late. That's too
He was the 15th pick.
I also had the last guess in the previous 4 rounds, which is probably why I have the highest score.
All right, but Shabazz Napier doesn't help me at all because that's just a ridiculous guess.
Well, it's my guess. Take it or leave it.
Maybe no. I was thinking of Shabazz Muhammad actually.
I'm looking up that roster now. So
Played in the league for multiple years.
Could it be Lil Dang? Just kidding.
Just trying to think because I mean, if they were on the Bulls, they made the playoffs that year. That was D-Rose's rookie year. They made the playoffs.
Let's see.
It's a tough one.
39th pick by the Bulls in
Yes.
2008.
All right, this is the most logical thing I can come up with. Courtney Lee.
nice.
That's not right, but Courtney Lee. I want to get a good guess.
Okay. And Jackson, what was your answer for this?
I'm just trying to think of Bulls.
It could be Shabazz Napier or Courtney Lee.
It could be. Let me think.
Did they trade him?
Could have.
Yeah, you can't. He's not giving hints, my man.
Oh.
Jackson's doing research. Are you
Jackson,
looking
that's
up
not
the
allowed.
player?
I was looking up if a player was drafted, but it's completely wrong. So shut up. Okay.
What are we rolling with?
I don't know if this is wrong, but I'm just gonna go Ben Gordon. I don't know.
He was on the
drafted
team.
way earlier. He was drafted way earlier, actually.
Locking in Ben Gordon?
No. That was an astronomically bad guess.
At least he was on the team. Like,
I'm just gonna say Luol Deng because I don't know when he was drafted. I think he was a second rounder. I got no clue.
All right, so we're rolling with Courtney Lee, Shabazz Napier, and Luol Deng.
what a trio of players.
That would be quite a big 3.
Air pulls.
Unfortunately, none of you guys got the correct answer.
Who is it?
It was a very weird one. He never played for the Bulls. Sonny Weems.
Yeah, I was.
Wow, Sonny Weems. Oh, wow.
I was my boy Sonny.
Yeah.
So
Shout out to Sonny Weems, man.
definitely
Dang,
like
Nick,
a
Nick,
real player
congratulations.
for a bit.
Congratulations, Nick. You will never beat me in trivia again.
Yes. Now I will. You know, I'm feeling a little generous today, and obviously, like, you know, the theme on your guys' show is Pirtle. At least it's been on a lot of them. So I'm willing to give you guys, without checking, if you can name me in 10 seconds, if you guys have done the Pirtle today, who is the Pirtle player for today?
Oh, I got no clue.
One guess only.
Can I pull it up real quick?
No.
No, Jackson. Okay, 10 seconds. All right.
If you do, then you just won't get any points.
Let's go with Cole Anthony.
Cole Anthony.
We got Davion Mitchell.
I wouldn't say it if it wasn't.
Davion Mitchell. Jackson, what are you picking?
I'm gonna go with Malachi Flynn.
Malachi Flynn. So that's what we're rolling with? All of those answers?
Yeah.
Right there. It's gonna be Malachi.
Okay. Solid guesses. Another insane trio. But the correct answer is actually Ben Simmons.
Oh, it's Ben Simmons. That's hilarious.
I love Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
Jackson's still a believer over
I
here.
love Ben Simmons. I love Jordan Poole.
Yeah, that's crazy. I figured, you know what, like, just before I hopped on, I'm like, let me do the Pirtle, and, like, you know, for the end of the mini game, I'll give them 5 points if they can tell me just off first guess. So
Man, I was thinking about saying Ben too.
Dang,
Oh,
Ben
God.
Simmons. Wow.
yeah,
Well, that was fun. That was a lot of fun.
A lot of fun.
that was a good one. So I think Nick, you ended with 30, and then Miles, Jackson, 21 and 23 respectively. How do you guys feel about that still?
Man,
Disappointed. I gotta.
I'm not surprised.
gotta step up our game. We
No
cannot
surprise.
be letting Nick have this. This is like
No,
not
for real.
right.
That's the most casual NBA fan I've ever met in my life.
Most
I know,
casual winner.
No surprise. It's pretty crazy.
Oh, man.
I will tell you, like, none of you guys are last, though. You guys all, like, finished above a couple people.
No, they're both last. What do you mean?
Well,
All right.
Oh, stop it.
I guess maybe today, like, they could be last. But yeah, I think there's a number of people below all you guys, and I think I'm trying to see, like, where you've placed, Nick. I think you're in 7th or 8th. You're tied with 7th right now.
Not
Wow.
satisfied. I'll be back and beat it.
Yeah, right.
Well,
Jackson, you and I, we're starting from the bottom.
Hey, it's okay.
We'll get up there
I'd
eventually.
rather be the top 2 in the fantasy league too, instead of being dead last wherever Nick's at.
we'll see. You guys might have another crack at it with the Rose Gold Trivia.
I'm gonna get this next time.
We'll have to see. But with that being said, you know, I appreciate you guys all being here for the show. I think it was a fun time, and hopefully you guys enjoyed. You got anything you guys want to add before we wrap it up?
Listen, thank you so much for having us on. I mean, what you do is great on this podcast. It's a lot of fun, and it was great to be on today. You know, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
dude. You make awesome stuff. Thanks for having us here. We'll have to have you on, return the favor sometime, and be
Oh,
awesome.
for sure.
Snap! I better brush up on my Pirtle then.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it was
Rockets trivia. Come on with that bitters.
great. Yeah, make sure you guys go check them out down below. I'll have their stuff in the description. But yeah, I think it was a pretty good episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys for watching, and we're out. Peace.